state governors certify their borders are secured before we move forward with any other aspect of immigration reform. Now, understandably, in 1986, we gave amnesty to a couple million people, said we'd secure the borders, and we did. As you know, now we got 12 million. So I will secure the borders first, sir, before we address any other part of the problem. And I think we need a temporary worker program, and I could introduce you to people in the agriculture business in Yuma, Arizona that aren't going to pick lettuce this winter. And I can do other things, but first we got to secure the borders. Go ahead.
I agree that we need a temporary worker program. I think we need a much stronger one. We need it here on the island during the summer.
Yes, sir.
But I don't think we'll ever secure the borders as long as there are jobs available in this country for illegals.
Well, I agree with that, but first we do the necessary things to secure the border. Okay, that's walls, sensors, UAVs, etc. And then you set up a program where if someone advertises a job, American doesn't take it, that person goes to our embassy, gets a tamper-proof biometric document. That document and information is entered into an employment electronic employment verification system. Okay, that guy, man or woman, comes and works for you. You verify it through this on the internet. Okay, you can just go online and know whether that's valid or not. As long as that person is working for you 10 months and 2 months back, 10 months, 2 months back, then you're not on the hook. Okay, but once we set up that system, anybody who employs someone illegally without going through that system should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. In my view, once that message gets south of the border, then that magnet dries up, because then they can't get a job if they get across our border successfully. See my point? Does that make sense?
I understand that.
Does that make sense, though?
It makes sense for the future, but I'm concerned about the 12 million that are here now.
Well, you're going to have to address it, I think, in a variety of ways. Some people, obviously, are going to have to go back. They've been here a short period of time. I think they go back. I think others that may have to go back to the country that they came from to make sure that they have not violated our laws, et cetera, et cetera. If it's an 80-year-old woman and her grandson is fighting in Iraq, I'm not interested in calling her son up and telling her grandson and telling him I'm deporting his grandmother. We have a lot of those people fighting in Iraq now. So then I think some of those people should be allowed, after they learn English, take the naturalization exam, get in line behind everybody else who came here legally, then obviously. So I think it's a little bit complicated, but it's got to be addressed. If you don't address it, then you got de facto amnesty for 12 million people. I understand how emotional this issue is. I understand it. But I think the first step that Americans want is the border secured first.
Thank you.
Thank you, yes, sir.
I think one of the things, there was an article that appeared this weekend on Parkland Hospital in Dallas, that 70% of the babies that are born were from illegal immigrants. Mm-hmm. And all of that is provided free of charge. Mm-hmm. And that has to be enormous cost. They have 7 baby clinics at that hospital. Mm-hmm. And I do not think that we in this country have a good understanding of what the cost of the illegal immigrants are to this country.
Well, I think that's a discussion that we could have, and I'd be glad to send you some facts and figures. But if you secure the border, then they're not going to be able to get in to do that. Okay? So we get back to my original comment. But I think here in Hilton Head, there is a need for temporary workers, particularly in the summer. I think most people would agree with that, but that has to be done in a legal fashion, not in an illegal fashion. That's my point. But I think you go back to the original problem. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, in the back.
You mentioned the rule of law. I have a growing concern about the loss of sovereignty to American citizens. I don't know, your campaign schedule being as busy, if you've ever had a chance to read Charlie Savage, the Pulitzer Prize-winning author's book, The Return of the Imperial President. But he outlines, particularly Vice President Dick Cheney's use of things like signing statements, labeling of Americans as enemy combatants, the constant erosion of constitutional protections that we've had for hundreds of years that are now being stripped away. What would you do as president to restore the rule of law that I think we're very quickly losing?
Good question.
First thing I do is obey the law. The second thing I would do is I wouldn't issue any signing statements that would in any way be interpreted that I would be favor or take any action which would violate a law which is passed by Congress and that I would sign. The third thing I would do, my dear friends, and some of you may not agree with this, I would say I'm closing Guantanamo Bay. I'm moving those prisoners to Fort Leavenworth. I'm going to move forward with the trials, and they are not entitled to, nor any guarantee of a trial that an American citizen would have. Look, after Nuremberg, we didn't give those people all the rules of evidence and all the things, but at least they had a trial. And I would move forward with that. I would declare my commitment to addressing the issue of climate change, and I would declare that we will never torture another prisoner. Okay? Now, why do I feel like that? Obviously, that's treated with mixed emotions. But I wish you could listen to Colin Powell. I wish you could listen to General Jack Vesey. I wish you could listen to the retired military officers and active duty military officers who say that we lose the moral high ground, but more importantly, if Americans are captured in future wars, not by Al-Qaeda, but in future wars that we're going to have, and if we torture people, then what is going to happen to the men and women who are serving in the military when they fall under that? So, and also I'd like to say it's not effective. When you torture somebody, you get reliable and unreliable information because they're going to tell you whatever they think you want to hear if you inflict enough physical pain on them. So could I say, my friends, that if you look at the Israelis, you look at others, if we had a highly trained and highly skilled interrogation capability, we could get much more effective use of intelligence that way. So I want to assure you I'll do everything that I can to protect the individual's rights in America. But I'll also say to you, we are facing an evil and an enemy that is almost unprecedented in some ways. It is a huge force of evil. It's Hydra-headed. It pops up in Denmark and Germany, in Scotland. When doctors want to go out and destroy a Glasgow airport, our head of our CIA has said they're trying to establish cells in the United States of America. They are making effective use of cyberspace. Look at bin Laden. About 3 weeks ago, he sends out a tape from some obscure place in Afghanistan or Pakistan, and he's able to inform, instruct, and guide and recruit people all over the world to his brand of evil that wants to destroy everything we stand for and believe in. So let's not underestimate the dimensions of the challenge we face either. They killed 3,000 innocent Americans. So I want to tell you, I'm going to get them. I'm going to follow bin Laden to the gates of hell, and we're going to get him, and we're going to get every other one of them, and we're going to prevail, and we'll never surrender, and they will. Mention one other thing, my friends. I think it's great to have been mayor of a big city. I think it's great to have been a governor. I've been involved in every national security issue since I was on board the USS Enterprise at the Cuban Missile Crisis. I've been engaged and involved in every major national security challenge we've had for the last 20 years. I am qualified. I am qualified to be Commander-in-Chief and meet this transcendent challenge. I hope that you will tell your friends. I hope that you will support me. This is an important part of the state of South Carolina for me. We have a lot of strong base here. We've got to get out the vote. If you want me to win this state, and this state will be vital, because whoever has won 2 of the first 3 states since 1980, Iowa, South Carolina, New Hampshire, has been the nominee of the party. So I need your help here. I'm asking for your assistance. It's only about 55 days or so, or 60 days between now and when that election is going to take place. My friends, I've had the great honor of serving this country for a long, long time. And I'd like to serve again, and I'd like to keep serving. And I'm grateful and proud that I have my 2 old friends here, along with many others. And I had to go down to the old soldiers' home and blow the cabin. And I want to say thank you for coming out today. Thank you for your friendship. You're a great American. You're a great American.